The Watchers, angels who broke God's rules. They were not just angels, they were divine beings, radiant, powerful, and assigned by God to guide humanity. But something went wrong. These heavenly watchers didn't just observe, they crossed a line that brought giants into the world, a line that brought down the flood, a line that still echoes through history and prophecy. The Bible gives us a cryptic glimpse in Genesis 6. It says, "The sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they took them as wives." For thousands of years, scholars and ancient texts have debated this. Who were these sons of God? The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish writing that expands on Genesis, calls them the Watchers. They were angels sent to earth to observe and guide. But they became obsessed with human women, and their leader, Semiezer, feared they would face judgment. Still, 200 of them swore an oath together and descended to Mount Hermon. Not to guide, but to indulge in their own desires. They took wives from among humans, and the children they produced were not ordinary. They were called the Nephilim giants. Not just physically massive, but terrifying. The Nephilim were described as heroes of old, men of renown. Yet their power led to violence, domination, and horror. According to the Book of Enoch, these giants began consuming everything humans produced. And when there was no food left, they turned to humans themselves. But the Watchers didn't stop at physical corruption. They began teaching humanity secrets that God had not permitted. One named Azazel taught men how to forge weapons and armor, turning mankind toward war. Another, Semiezer, taught sorcery and enchantments. Others revealed astrology, root cutting, cosmetics, and occult knowledge. Technology and magic, centuries ahead of their time, were now in human hands. And with it came pride, chaos, and bloodshed. The cries of the earth reached heaven, and according to Enoch, for great archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, brought this corruption before God. God was grieved by what his creation had become. He declared judgment, first on the giants, then on the Watchers. The Nephilim were to destroy one another in battle. Their legacy of destruction would end in blood. And the Watchers themselves, they were to be bound, thrown into pits of darkness, imprisoned until the day of judgment. Raphael was sent to bind Azazel and cast him into a desert wasteland, covering him with jagged stones. Gabriel incited war among the giants, turning them against each other. Michael bound Semiezer and the rest of the Watchers, locking them in the depths of the earth beneath mountains and oceans. Then came the flood, a divine reset to cleanse the earth of the chaos caused by angelic rebellion. But the story doesn't end there. After the flood, we read of giants reappearing in the Bible. The Anakim, the Rephaim, the Zamzumim. Were these new giants, or echoes of the Nephilim? When Israel's spies entered Canaan, they said, "We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." Goliath, the Philistine champion defeated by David, stood over 9 feet tall and had brothers. Could the bloodline of the Nephilim have survived? The story of the Watchers also raises deeper theological questions. First, it reminds us that angels, like humans, have free will. They can choose obedience or rebellion. Second, it shows what happens when the spiritual realm interferes with the natural one. The Watchers blurred that boundary, and the result was chaos. Third, it warns us that not everything supernatural is from God. Paul says in 2 Corinthians, even Satan masquerades as an angel of light. Just because it feels powerful doesn't mean it's divine. Many early Christians and Jews believed that the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim became demons, restless, roaming the earth, seeking bodies to possess. They are not the Watchers themselves, but the unnatural children of heaven and earth. Others believe that occult practices today still trace their roots back to the forbidden knowledge the Watchers gave mankind. Is that a stretch? Maybe. But Jesus said something chilling. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. What were the days of Noah like? Corrupt, violent, full of rebellion, supernatural forces influencing humanity, and humanity opening the door to that influence. If those days are returning, are we prepared? Are the Watchers still locked away? Or are their teachings alive and well in the modern world? The Watchers broke God's rules. They gave up eternity for lust. They traded heaven for power. And they brought judgment not just on themselves, but on the entire world. Their fall reminds us of the power of rebellion and the mercy of God. Because, even in the chaos, God preserved a righteous remnant. Noah and his family, and that's the hope we carry forward. Judgment is real, but so is mercy. God always saves those who walk with him, even when the world is falling apart. So, what do you think? Were the Watchers real? Are their children still among us? Or is their influence just beginning again in another form? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Tiny Seed Bible for more biblical deep dives like this one. Because the truth is, not every light comes from heaven.